Hi guys, good evening. Thank you so much everyone for joining in. Today is again another Sunday live show on this bright orbit. I can see few people here on Zoom and a few more people on the YouTube live channel. Guys, welcome everyone once again and good evening. I hope your weekend is being going well so far, and I can see some of the frequent names both on YouTube live as well as on Zoom. Guys, just one request, please keep introducing yourself. Just type in your name, your city and your company name in the chat window so we all know who all are there. And I can see some of the frequent names, as I said, and I can see some of the new names. So if you are here for the first time, just type in FT in the comment box. FT stands for the first time, so we know who all are there for the first time. Abhishek, hi, welcome, good evening. So just type, if you are here for the first time, just type in FT in the comments box. Yeah, I can see Nikunj is here for the first time. Welcome all the first timer guys. A warm welcome to all of you. And for the people who are here for the first time, as you know, this the channel which we have started some time back, the Bright Orbit, is all about medical device sales. So we talk about various aspects of medical device sales, various specialties, various segments, various companies, and what are the relevant skill set which are required to break into this industry and how to be successful in this world of medical technology. And there are various opportunities which are available. So every week, as you know, we meet every Sunday at 5 o'clock and we discuss a lot of stuff on medical devices. Initially, as you know, I have started doing it myself, and now since last few weeks we are getting industry expert and veteran to talk about the various practical aspects of medical devices and interact with all of you and to answer your questions. So today it's my privilege to have and to have on this show Mr. Amarjit Talk. And so welcome Amarjit Talk to this show, and thank you so much for accepting our invite. So guys, to introduce you briefly about Mr. Amarjit Singh Talk, he is a pharmacy graduate. He did his graduation in pharmacy in 2004 from Rajiv Gandhi University in Bangalore, and he joined pharmaceutical sales and he joined Juventus Healthcare as his first job as a professional sales officer. He worked here for about a year and a half, and then he switched into Novo Nordisk in a small city called Kota, and then subsequently worked in Jaipur. And he has worked in insulin segments of initial for little over 4 years. He worked in two different companies, pharmaceutical companies, like most of us have started our careers from pharmaceutical industry. And then he got into Johnson and Johnson Ethicon division in the surgical segment, and he worked at other locations like Mumbai, Ahmedabad as well. So he worked there briefly, and then he's got into Striker. So Striker, he spent a lot of time, almost more than 6 years in Striker. He started his career as a territory sales manager, got promoted to area sales manager, business manager, and he has handled North India and subsequently North and East India business for Striker. And then he moved on to Getting. He started as a director of sales in the key accounts and key projects, and then he handled the increasing responsibility year after year, moved into marketing, business development, and obviously in the latest assignment he was the sales director of commercial operations in Getting across Asia Pacific. So this was a brief introduction from my end, and now once again, Mr. Amarjit Singh Talk, a warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for accepting our invite and joining on this show. And now I would open up for the audience to hear from you. Just tell about your career journey and how you moved across last 15 years or so.
Sure. Thanks, Pankaj. First of all, I would appreciate the time that you have taken and the initiative that you are running. This shows your priorities in life, and may God bless you with all the success with your channel, not only with professional life but also in personal life. You have already covered my career synopsis very well, so I have very little to add. But I would like to congratulate not only to you but the people who have decided on Sunday evening to come over this channel. This shows their priority in life. In era of distraction where you have lots of content, lots of funny and destructive, content to deviate you from your life's priority. So I congratulate all the attendees who are listening to this talk. It shows they have some priority in life and they will definitely be successful in their life since they are choosing right options, right content. And before we move forward, yes, guys, I'm a pharmacy graduate. Like most of us, we don't plan to become salespeople. And similarly, I was not planning to become a salesperson, but in personal life, some event happened that I decided to jump into sales. But for me, it was always clear that I wanted to be in sales for medical devices or surgical or maybe pharmaceutical. So my line of sales was always clear. There has been times in my career where I got offer from across industries, different industries. In between, around 2006, there was lots of culture for getting into finance industry. But I stick to the area where I love to serve people. Since I'm a pharma graduate, it makes more sense for me to be in sales field. And I worked in pharmaceuticals, then later surgical consumable, then capital equipment, and now I was in commercial operations. So this is brief about me. I can say I'm a hustler who has grown through different ranks through hustling. Uh, I'm not a great fan of talent. I'm a great fan of efforts. And if you are willing to put effort, irrespective of your circumstances or the place you born, you can succeed in life too. So this is brief about me, Pankaj.
Yeah, great to hear from you. And in addition to that, I thought I will keep it as a surprise, but to tell you the all the listeners who are there, be it on Zoom as well as YouTube live. So recently, Mr. Amarjit has published a book as well. So we will be talking. So he is now an author as well. In addition to all of his responsibility, be it in sales, be it in marketing, business development across like commercial operations. So yes, you can see the background of Mr. Amarjit. So he has written a wonderful book called "You Are Powerful Beyond Measure." So we will learn from him what this book is all about. But before that, since Amarjit, you said that you are a hustler and you are a salesperson throughout your life. So I think the audience would like to understand from you. Yes, you said that you wanted to be in sale in different verticals, but how sales this function has helped you shape your career. So that because a lot of us are from sales only, people who are there in this meeting. So how sales has helped you shape your career?
Thanks, Pankaj, for asking this question. This is very pertinent, and I don't believe I have not met a single person on the earth who's not selling, who's not a salesperson. However, the sales is being restricted to only function. I'm sorry, it's a human instinct to convince other people, be it products or be it anything. So we'll touch upon that. But I've been asking people, what do you understand by sales? They say, convincing people to buy your product, or they sell product in exchange of money, or selling service in exchange of money. So there are different nature of sales. But if I have to define sales in single line, is actually exchange of value. If I'm speaking today and the audience is convinced with that, it's a sales. What in return I will get is their acceptance as me as a authority, or as a person who's speaking. So it's a sales. Everyone and everything which is happening in the world is sales. So I consider this is one of the noble profession where I got into, and our job is to make people you know right choices in their life, right buying choices in their life. So when it comes to exchange of values, our first sales start when we are born in this world and we cry for the milk, and our mother feeds on our cry because she understands the difference between our crying for the milk and our crying for different pains. So that's where from our sales starts. So everyone and anyone in this world is doing sales. I'll tell you one of the example. When a person is unable to convey what he has as an idea, how he fails. So there is two scientists. One is Thomas Edison, Another is Nikola Tesla. And this guy, Tesla is the real genius behind developing electricity, commercial electricity, which is prevalent now across. If America is electrified, it is because of Nikola Tesla, not because of Thomas Edison. But when a scientist is unable to convince his, buyers about idea, then someone else will make money out of it. So be it scientist, seller, or be it a lover who's proposing a girl for a prosperous life, it's all sales. When you are exchanging values, that's sales. Yeah, our sales is different than selling comps and selling pen. When I got into sales profession, I got into this profession by incidents, but I realized I was very good at convincing people. And this is started from my childhood itself. I never knew that it will become my profession, but now I think I'm blessed where I am because of my instinct of convincing people. When I got into sales in around 2004, 2005, there was theory, you either convince customer or confuse customer, or, third C, which I would not even like to say, corrupt customer, which is actually a wrong philosophy for sales. Or, there was a very famous proverb, salesman is a person who can sell, calm to the bald person. These are wrong anecdotes and wrong proverbs. Salesman is a person who helps people to make right choices in their life, and that's where from I started. So if I say you are a salesperson, mostly we compel ourselves that we will be selling. No, customer will be buying something. If not from you, from someone else. Sometimes customer is even even not aware about his need. So as a salesperson, it's my job to make him aware of his need and tell him how my product or my service or I myself could be a help for him. So it's all about exploiting the need of other person or sometimes making him aware of the need. And that's sales for me. And I've been doing throughout all my life. If I have to, sometime demean my product for getting into my customer's book of credibility, I would prefer to, demean or, prefer to give him right advice. Don't buy this, buy that. Because that's how you build up, trust. It's not insurance sale where you are coming here and selling one product and disappearing for the lifetime, because now customer will be making frequent purchases because he has bought the policy from you. Medical sales, be it pharmaceutical, where user is buying something for his patient, or consumable which he will be using on the patient, or whether capital equipment which is investment for himself. All these three things is actually going to impact his own reputation. If your product is not a right fit for his patient, he should not be prescribing. If your product is not right fit for particular surgical procedure, he should not be using it. You have to be very honest with his needs, not for your needs. And when you put others' need ahead of your need, sales is the most delightful job that you will ever do.
Right, absolutely. And to take it further, Narjit, we would like to understand from you, like the question is about how sales has helped you in your career. So if you would have not been doing sales, what do you think you have been doing in your life?
uh, Pankaj, again, as I said, everyone is doing sales. So, anyways, be it, what is the job of a CEO of a company or CFO of a company? He makes nice balance sheet so that auditors approve it, and it goes into stock market, and stock market will respond based on your balance sheet. So, end of the day, CFO is also making a sales. He is also making his company look attractive in that balance sheet so that people can invest into their company. So is the job of CEO. So everyone is doing sales.
Right.
It depends what level of sales you are doing.
Great.
But I would give credit to my employers. I've been very fortunate to have worked with company like Novo Nordisk, where when I was selling, the concept of selling was not to help provide product, but help a normal physician turn into diabetologist, and a normal diabetologist become a endocrinologist. how you can help your user, your prescriber. You don't grow in sales by only purely selling your product. You grow with your customer and you help them grow. I take example of Johnson. Johnson every year, sales reps are supposed to make a target list of customer whomever they will invest for future surgical skill training. When a surgeon doing lab chole, if he can learn new set of skill for doing advanced nature of surgery, he will become an advanced surgeon. So you are not growing your sale, you are helping surgeon grow in his skill so that his target audience grows. And when his target audience grows, your sales will automatically grow.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I give credit to uh, my employers actually, especially Johnson and Novo Nordisk. They let me know, it's not about company, it's not about product, it's always about customer.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sales is about customer, you rightly said, and it is obviously not only selling your product, but yes, providing solution to the problems of your customers and the end users. So moving on from here,
Correct.
since you have worked in all these segments, like you started from pharmaceutical sales, moved on to selling surgical consumables, then capital equipments as well. So how do you think these segments are different, and in terms of selling approach, from a sales rep perspective, how it is different for each of these segments, and how is the consumer behavior, how does the consumer behavior vary from one to another?
Sure. So, when I started my first job in pharmaceuticals, I was clueless, and I was surrounded by people who are not from scientific background, but they were making good number of sales. But it clicked because I was life sciences student. It clicked for me because I was speaking in the language of customer. So I will give answer to your question, and what is similarity in all three, and what is difference in all three. The first and foremost is intangible things are all similar. Intangible things means building trust and credibility with your customer. So if you walk into a mall, whom from you will buy? Someone who's pushing you, someone who's assertive? No. Someone who's amicable, someone who's trustworthy, someone who speaks softly. Will you buy from someone who's assertive? I have seen lots of sales rep who are actually high-headed and they speak in an assertive tone, and customer don't buy. And that's where the core basic philosophy of sales across three, pharma, surgical, as well as medical capital equipment devices remains same. It is trust, capability, and your amicability, your approachability. So these are the commonality across all three product range. When it comes to pharma sale is more of an execution approach rather than thinking impromptu on foot. So what happened in pharma, we are assigned with a must strike list of customer. You are given 200, 150 or 250 customer, and those customers are set according to their priority, and you will be making a number of frequency of calls per day, and by end of the month this should be your frequency. So you are already given a strategy, you are supposed to implement strategy. Then second thing is communication is more or less also tailored, and you are given for this quarter this will be our strategy and this will be the communication for this. So we are in pharma sales reps are the jingle speaker. You have seen advertisement where people come on the screen for 10 seconds and speak jingles and go out. Similarly, but it is done by models. In our industry it is done by sales rep. So we are brand ambassador. We are those people who sing jingles for the pharmaceutical companies in front of doctor. We go execute whatever delivered to us. So pharma sales is more of an execution work rather than customizing. Yeah, when you move into higher specialty areas, then there is a need for customization. If you are dealing with super specialty products, then there is a customization fit. Then you change your sales pitch according to the different customer and different need. When it comes to surgical consumable, now let me tell you, when I moved from pharmaceutical to surgical, my first exposure was moving from Jaipur to Mumbai, and then I was assigned entire west region. And then I was clueless. There was no, list of customer given to me. List of hospital and target was given to me, and product training. And I was asked to attend, surgeries. Why? Learn. After learning what to do, no one will tell you. You have to figure out your own way. And that's how, pharmaceutical sales and surgical consumable sales are different. No one will come and tell you, this is the must strike list of customer, and 4 time meet this customer, 3 time meet this customer. You have to pave your way. You have to understand, okay, this surgeon is doing more surgery, I need to visit him more frequently. And this is dynamic. So number of surgeries can change, and so is your priority will change. So surgical industry sales are very dynamic in nature. It changes with your customer's persona. At the same time, it is a multiple stakeholder sales. Surgeon is already wearing a scrub, he's not moving across. If nurse says, so and so product is not available, then your product is off shelf. Even if your product is available and nurse is not willing to put that your product on the surgical tray, then you are gone. So it is not only about selling it to surgeon, it is to selling to the main nurse, then circulatory staff, and then to entire ecosystem. So in surgical sale, it is impromptu sales, it's dynamic, and it's multiple stakeholder management. Dealer management is little bit, but not, like pharmaceutical. In pharmaceutical, dealer management is a very big, task. When it comes to capital equipment, I tell you, capital equipment altogether is a different ball game. It's like, it's like when somebody is buying house, how you make decision when you buy house, or someone is buying car, how do you make a decision for buying car? So the difference between, pharmaceutical sales and, capital equipment sale is like, one is buying a tire, you will change every day. But surgical equipment is something that surgeon will be using for 10 years. And if it is his private hospital, then it's an investment, because he will be showing in his balance sheet. There is a, income tax rebates he will be getting out of depreciation. It's not only about, his surgical expertise, it is surgical need, but also his comfort of, doing surgery. I have seen most of the surgeons, who pick up, surgical equipment because that increases their comfort, because they will be spending half of their life in surgical room. So these are the, contrast between sales. Trust, credibility, and, customers' need is all same. Just the buying psyche changes. And definitely maturity of sales differentiate. You have to think impromptu and surgical and, capital equipment. I'm not demeaning pharma sales. Yes, in super specialty divisions in pharma also, you need to do lots of impromptu work. I'm not demeaning anyways. I have very high regards for, pharma reps. But more or less, you are, given a strategy to follow. So that's where, it is different.
Sure. So what I understand is obviously in pharma sales, we do more of implementation work, like a marketing strategy or customer or interaction strategies are all being designed, and then we go and deliver and execute on most of the stuff. And in probably in surgical consumable or capital equipment, you have to be a little bit more innovative in your approach when you are trying to connect with your customer on how find ideas on how you can sell product, how you can connect with your customer, how you can engage with your customer, how do you identify the needs of the customer, and accordingly you pitch your product as a solution to those problems and the needs, right? So moving on from the sales of various segments like pharma and surgical consumable equipment. Now I also see kind of different roles which you have played in last 15 years in your career, starting from a sales rep to a manager, and then eventually becoming a sales leader. So how do you think you transitioned from one to another, and how each of the what are the kind of new capabilities which you need to develop from when you transition from one to another?
Sure, very good question. And most of us, especially people who are good in sales, they end up burning their own hand actually. What we believe as a salespeople, that I'm delivering my number, I'm performing, I'm super performer, I'm rockstar, and I deserve a promotion. And that's where from we good salespeople start burning our own hand. So what I would recommend to people who are actually in sales good and they wanted to transition to other level need to understand, for sales you are getting salary, for performance you are getting incentive, for doing consistent better job you are getting increment. So increment, salary and incentive is your compensation for your performance. Your performance is no way going to get you promotion. Promotion will come from your behavior. You need to understand what is the different role of your managers. A sales rep is supposed to achieve his assigned target. He's an individual contributor, but manager is not an individual contributor. Manager needs to manage 4 to 5 or maybe 10 people under him. So he have to compassionate and he has to be outwardly oriented rather than inwardly oriented for his own gains. So if you are willing to move from individual contributor to a manager, have you ever supported your manager to induct any new training? Have you done it with your own initiative? Okay, sir, I've spent 2 to 3 decent year. I've been consistent performer. Let me help you inducting new people. By this you will not only developing your rapport with your manager but also with your new colleague who will think this guy is very helpful. Have you supported your manager when one of your colleague has fallen ill and he need to cover his territory for the business purpose? Most of us says, oh, what is there for me? I never said this, and that's what help me grow in life. Okay, extra territory. I would love to have good relation with the extra KOLs. The more KOLs in my hand, I'm more powerful. I don't see it more work. I see it the more number of KOLs I can control, I will be better in my negotiation with companies, and that's how sales rep should be thinking. Help others, help your manager, and understand if you are aspiring for a role, please ask your manager what is your job description, what is your KRA, how you will be evaluated, and try and mimic what he's doing in his role in your limited capacity. Try and support him, show him that you are ready, so that other people, when they will see, they will give you opportunity as and when opportunity arrives. But what happens, we demand for opportunity based on our performance. Performance gets you incentive, performance doesn't get you promotion. Promotion comes from behavior and showing what potential you have. And the best quote, or the one liner I would like to add here: we don't get what we want, we get what we deserve. So want and deserve is two different things. So let's be deservable candidate first, and then you will be there. If not in this company, maybe in some other company, someone else will see you in field, and he will invest into you. And that happened with me, far more often than I believed in myself. Other people believed in me actually, and that's why I'm sitting here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You rightly mentioned that it's not because of say a performance you get your promotions. Yes, with performance you can get your increment, incentives, maybe a trip to some beautiful destination. Yeah, that's all there. But yes, you rightly said that getting promotion is not only about performing consistently. It's about getting into that role right now. Okay, getting into your future role today, so that you are already there. And then it's not about it's only about the title. Okay, the title can be transferred anytime whenever there is an opportunity. Okay, so focus on the
Right.
responsibility, focus on the job profile which you are doing right now. Is it related to your future role which you are aspiring for? If yes, then it's just a matter of time when you will be handed over that title as well. Okay, so focus on the work
Right.
rather than the title. Okay, so moving on from here, as I was going through your LinkedIn profile and was kind of understanding your career journey. I see a consistent upward movement in your kind of responsibilities or in your roles which you have done from one to another in various organizations. What special have you been doing? Because I see like you were getting promoted every year, maybe 6 months, 1 year, 1 year, 3 months, something was happening every year. And so what is that special which you have been doing which I have never seen in most of the people's profile? Okay, so I think it would be great if you can tell the audience that your secret mantra for your success.
Now I can reflect on things and I can put across few things, as mantras or maybe, techniques, but really there is no technique actually. Sometimes it's right timing and you are ready for that. If you will see my transition from 2012 to 2020 in 8 year, moving from area business manager to regional director, it's about, investing on myself, so it's combination of different things. It's very difficult, and it's a very valid question, but it is also a very difficult question. When I travel, when I drive, I mostly don't listen music. I listen YouTube channels. I watch, content which will enrich me. So my, investment on myself is constant. It's constant. I'm learning every day from, somewhere something, my consumption of content. So I'm a big, fitness enthusiast. I believe, what we eat, that we become. And that also applies to, what the content we consume, that we become. So if I move to YouTube, so there are lots of, compilation of TikTok funny videos, which I can, watch for hours together. There are lots of, other content which I can watch, but we preferably, the people who grow preferably chooses, content which will, enrich them. Like I initially, at the start of this call, I said, the people who are attending this call, they have made conscious, decision in their life that this is the content I wanted to watch. So first, I could control my content consumption, what I wanted to watch. And second, I never said no to an assignment. I have few friends who always believe. Let me give you some personal life example. One of my friend in year 2011-12 said, the best we can go up to is, regional manager. Eventually, we will end up being, some dealer or something. And totally denied him. So today he's a dealer, and I'm, regional director. So we become what we start to believe in ourselves. So it's actually your belief which actually forms your career. Second thing I would say, whenever any other assignment given to me, let me tell you about Striker story. I started in Striker in 2011 as an endoscopy sales rep. I did very well. National top year, second year I was Asia Pacific topper. But I was not growing in terms of, my stature in life. I was sales rep, be it TSM, ASM, ABM, end of the day you are sales rep. I changed my discussion with HR. Invest on me, invest on my personal development, give me management assignment. And, it's not only asking and demanding, it also contributing. So I started selling, product which was not represented in Rajasthan in those days. And fortunately those were difficult product to sell, and I was able to get, very good margins, very good number of sales without being responsible for a product line. So usually what happens to salespeople, they will do their quota and they are done with it. I never said, no to extra work. So what happened, the people who were responsible for that portfolio, they were unable to deliver that kind of, revenue which I was delivering in Rajasthan. So company realized, why we are wasting this guy in Rajasthan, let him, bring him to Delhi. So I was given entire north. In 1 year, the people who were doing, same work for last 10 years were reporting to me. And in 1 year's time, I was given north, east, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Not because, I was asking for, better money or, better recognition. I was asking for more work. So only way by which we can grow, you ask how many people report to you. You ask how much business you are handling. You ask how much geography you are managing. So as long as I could not reach to the national level, these were the three things I was focusing. I need to do different thing every alternate year. Either my management, my reportee size should increase, or my geography should increase, or my revenue size should increase. And a sales rep who was doing 1.5 cr, I went on to in within Striker I was managing 36 crore per annum. So that's the kind of transition happened, not because uh, I was great. I was just asking for it. I'm not great, and I don't want anyone to be under impression that there is something called greatness. There is nothing called greatness. It's all what you demand, you get.
Right, absolutely. That's right, and I can also relate to it. Like the more responsibility you ask, the more work you ask for. Obviously, you will be given. If you are deserving, obviously you will be given those assignments as well. So, but what happens with most of the people in my interaction, I have learned that whenever you are trying to get into a new assignment, be it voluntary or your company is asking you to do, a lot of people have this fear of failure. Okay, like what if I do not do well? Okay, what will happen to me? Will I be still be continuing? What will happen if I do not succeed in this role? So a lot of us are kind of are averse to taking up new roles, new opportunities, just because of this fear of failure. So what do you have to, how did you counter whenever you were taking, I'm sure you must also be thinking that with whether I will be successful in this role or not. So how did you kind of counter
Hello. 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 Hi, Pankaj. We are still streaming.
I think some network problem.
Right. So, as long as Pankaj is not there, but I could understand, his question very well. So let's continue. We hope, he would be back on the call sometime. Pankaj was asking me about, whenever people are given additional responsibility, they are apprehensive of taking responsibility. So there are two things in life, apprehension and fear. Apprehension is good. Apprehension is something uh, which we have right before exam, which compels us go and read once again, which makes us put extra effort sometimes. But when apprehension is followed by inaction, it turns into fear. So it is very, very important for us. Hi, Pankaj. So
sorry.
I picked up where you left actually.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, what I was telling about, uh, fear of failure arise from our apprehension. There is a difference in apprehension and fear. Apprehension is something which makes us put more effort. When we think, I'm given a new task, I need to put more effort. And that's apprehension. When apprehension is followed by, inaction, then apprehension turns into fear, and fear is trembling. This is what happens to us when we go onto a stage and our voice starts shaking. Why voice starts shaking? Because we are thinking about consequences. We are not thinking about content that will be coming out of my mouth. uh, I'm thinking about consequence, what other people will be thinking of. So that's where we need to control our urge. Fear is only derived out of inaction. Focus on your process and everything will be right. So like the question you ask, whenever any new assignment is given to people, why they hesitate? The very same thing whenever you are standing on stage and you will ask person come and as a volunteer come on the stage. You will see there are people who are not interested to come on the stage. You never know, maybe you are being invited to hand over some cash to you. Maybe you are given some promotion. Go, be on the stage. Why to worry? You have nothing to lose. And that's fear of something will happen or something will go wrong, sometimes stops us. Let me tell you, when I moved from Rajasthan to Mumbai, all of a sudden, a sales rep who was confined to a state moved into Mumbai and now managing 4 states and very big region or around 50 odd dealers. I was, clueless. And on top of that, it was different industry. Now I was in surgical industry. For almost 5 to 6 months, I was like Alice in Wonderland. But those sleepless nights, and my good manager, Mr. Atul Grover, who invested, his considerable good amount of time on me, he helped me navigate through those fears. So, I would have not become what I have become if I have said no to assignment. I was in Kota. Novo Nordisk asked me, "Will you move to Jaipur?" I said yes, and I moved to Jaipur in a new assignment, an assignment which was created recently as a hospital executive, which was new pilot project within organization. I never said no to that. When I got interviewed by Johnson Johnson, I was interviewed for Udaipur. Then I was offered a job in Mumbai. I didn't say no. J&J was my dream organization. I joined J&J. When I joined, Striker, I was clueless. I was selling product of, 1,000 rupees, 5,000, 10,000 rupees. And all of a sudden, I'm being asked to sell product worth 24 lakh rupee, single unit to one doctor. I was not aware doctors are so rich that they can buy even 24 lakh worth good. So it was very very different and difficult time for me to comprehend that this kind of equipment can be sold to people. Then when I moved to Gettinge, after spending 6.5 years with Striker, I was very comfortable. I would have I was growing every year. I was getting promoted, but I moved out of my comfort zone to become sales director in Gettinge, moving to new organization, new culture, new city. Again, I was back in Bombay. Currently, I'm sitting in Mumbai only. So it was very difficult time for me to adjust for 5 to 6 months, especially to new place, new organization. But let me tell you, growth is outside of your comfort zone. If you are, you do fitness, if you are comfortably doing 10 sets of repetition of dumbbells, then 10 sets are not good for you. You have to increase your number of set or number of repetition. So if you are already managing a portfolio which you can comfortably manage, you are killing yourself. Ask for new assignment every alternate year or every second year to your manager, to your company. Prove them I have done with that. I have a more urge to learn. I have a more urge to grow. The more you demand, you will be served more. The people who don't demand, they are not served.
Right, absolutely. So yes, I learned from you is that you have to demand, you have to continuously ask for more, and obviously you have to keep this fear out of your head for some time and take action. Okay, so taking action and getting into that zone and then figure out how will you do your job. I think that is the best approach. Without like getting into the analysis and or paralysis mode will not help. Take action and later think about how you will do job. I'm sure like most of us, like Amarjit has done it himself. When you get into a new role, you will figure out a way, because yes, we all have that instinct in us to survive. Okay, survive and do well. If you are willing to put extra effort, if you are willing to do whatever it takes you to be successful, if that willingness is there, if that passion is there, and if that zeal is there consistently to be successful, yes, I am sure you will figure out a way. And that most of the successful people like Amarjit have been doing it in their lives. So that is great. And moving on from here, let's discuss the theme of today's session, which is about growth mindset for a successful career progression. So what is growth mindset according to you, and how one can develop this growth mindset? Because I
Right.
see a lot of people, they are not having, they are not having the goals in place for them. Okay, whatever most of us are like going with the flow, whatever happens to our life, and that those situations, those external circumstances, they shape our life's decisions rather than we taking and we being active on what we really want to do. So what is growth mindset according to you?
Right. First of all, as we spoke even about previous question, thank God, God is not asking before our birth whether you are ready for birth or not. We are thrown into this world, and
Great.
whether we are ready or not. Thank you God, you are not asking us, because most of us are apprehensive about our capabilities. Let me tell you one thing, if we are lucky species. Human being is a very lucky species, because we are not pre-programmed like most of the other species are pre-programmed. A money plant is supposed to be like a curvature, small shrub or plant, or a banyan tree is supposed to be trunky, heavier, bigger, and it has a certain potential to reach. Or neem tree has a certain definition, it will grow up to certain height, and then it will die. So most of the species in the world, they are pre-programmed, their growth is predefined. Human is the only species where we are not pre-programmed. You can be born into a very poor family and you can become rich like Dhirubhai Ambani, or you can be born into a very rich family and you can become a miserably poor person. So thanks to God that he's not asking us before our birth. And second, thanks to him, he has not pre-programmed us. Otherwise, we will be limited to our own. Just imagine the world, how boring the world would be when everyone will grow onto the same level. We will have same kind of resource, we will have same kind of capabilities. The world will be boring. And that's why out of 195% people, like I would say, go and do the YouTube analysis. You will find 95% people are looking for funny and indulgence videos. Only 5% people are watching something which will deliver them something in their life, apart from laughter and good time. So that's why the 5% people only get success, because then they are intentionally choosing what they need to indulge into. Now coming back to your question of growth mindset, most of us, we think there's something called greatness, which we are born with. There is something called talent that we are born with. And in previous century or generation, there was a concept of IQ. And this IQ has done lots of disservice to our community and everyone, because IQ says you can comprehend data, but how to get along with people, IQ doesn't teach you. So most of the people with high IQ, they are not good in their behavior. They are abrasive with people, and most of the time they are unable to leverage their potential. And that's why most of the scientists, they die in lab unknown, and someone else is making money out of their name. So that's why concept of IQ is limited. Thanks, in this era we know there are different aspects to human behavior, human potential. So as we were speaking about growth mindset is where you are accepting and you are in peace with your own potential. You know that you can be changed, you can be transformed, irrespective of the family you are born in, the environment you are in, or maybe the people around you have, and the other peripheral circumstances. I'll quote you one example, one study of two twins born in this one family. One twin became alcoholic, and he has a urge to drink alcohol, very unsuccessful. Another other brother became very successful businessman, and he was not drinking any alcohol. They were in the same family, same parents, but two different results. Why? When they were interviewed, the alcoholic person said, I'm alcoholic because my father used to drink alcohol. Alcohol was around me. It was in my house. I had easy access, and my father was doing. So I got impressed and I started drinking. When his other brother was asked, why you are not alcoholic like your brother and you are successful, he said, I have seen the pain of what alcohol did to my family, what my mother has gone through, what I have faced in my childhood because of this alcohol. My father used to drink, and alcohol was all around us. So I used to hate alcohol. Because of alcohol we were poor. So just look at the two people's orientation. One person is blaming the circumstances for making worse decision in his life. Another person was choosing same circumstances as a reason to improving his life. So it's all about our choices. In the same environment, twin brothers who are born in same family can make two different choices. So growth mentality is this. Fixed mindset is, that everyone is talent driven. You are successful because you are from B school. I'm not from B school. Thank God Dhirubhai Ambani did not check his credentials. Otherwise, he would have not been successful. Thank God, Mark Zuckerberg check his credential, or, Elon Musk, or maybe you can speak about Steve Jobs. They're all college dropouts. They know what they're good at and they are doing their job. So we are not confined by identity. We are not confined by talent. And that's where, even our society is wrong. We are being, rated on results. We are not appreciated on our process. And when you focus too much on result, then what happens? Non-compliance. Then what happens? I'll tell you about, one of the great example. Since we are all Indian, we know cricket, and we have seen, what happened to Australian cricket team, couple of years back. They were dominating since 2000, year 2000, and they were number one team. And they were supposed to be on number one for a pretty long period of time. When they had a tough test series in South Africa, they decided to temper the ball. Why? Because they were only driven by result, not by process. And when their leading players were terminated, or asked to serve a notice period of 2 years without playing, or a period of confinement, or away from cricket, they corrected their philosophy. Now Australian cricket is known for the value that we will play good cricket. Sorry, no matter what are the consequences is. We will focus on process. We will play fair. When you focus only on result, then these kind of things happen. Then non-compliance comes. So please come out of fixed mindset of talent. There is no one is talented, and talent never gets you success. If all talented people are supposed to be successful, let's take example from India. Sachin Tendulkar versus Vinod Kambli. Vinod Kambli was better batsman compared to Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin Tendulkar took 84 matches to make his first international, ODI 100, whereas Vinod Kambli got ahead of him. He scored first double century and got retired from cricket. Only after his retirement, Sachin scored his first double century in Test. But we know Sachin as a great player, not Vinod Kambli. So talent didn't make you. It is you're persistent. You choose that I will live and die for it. Then you become great. So
Absolutely.
growth mindset is about, hustling.
Great. I think you have put it very nicely in terms of the hard work, in terms of perseverance, and like hustling every single day, day in, day out, every single day, and keep bettering yourself, keep sharpening your skill set. And that is the way, not only, yes, talent can only take you far, but yes, you will not always win based on the talent only. You have to continuously upskill yourselves. You have to continuously work hard to achieve success. And as Amarjit said, yes, you have to keep hustling to win in your life. Okay, so moving on from here, Amarjit, we have talked about growth mindset. We have talked about exploring or accepting new opportunity. With that also comes a kind of lot of people I myself, or a lot of people I interact with, we face a lot of rejections. Okay, starting from when we get into this medical sales profession, our customers starts turning us down. Whenever we are in pharmaceutical sales, our customer, they do not want to meet us. Even like a watchman of a particular hospital or a security guard, they throw us out. So we start getting rejections every now and then. So I'm sure in last 15 years or so in your career, you must have also faced a lot of rejection. But a lot of us, like, they get into this self-doubt mode. Okay, even no matter how talented we are, how willing we are to put our best foot forward every single day, still when we face rejection, we get into kind of self-doubt mode. We start doubting our own capabilities, or we kind of self-sabotage ourselves. So how do you, in your experience, how have you countered this kind of feeling when you got this kind of rejection so many times?
Very, very good question, and thanks for asking it, because I was about to give you some example more, but this makes it more relevant here. It's a pretty interesting engagement. Pankaj, thanks for inviting. Uh, I'm enjoying the discussion today. Uh, you know, Rejections are actually doesn't come on our resume. So you have seen what I have done, right? And this is how marketing happens. And this is how people doesn't ask for your resume of the failures. And I tell you, I have failed more than anyone else. That's why I got more success comparatively, if I compare to my other colleagues. Because I was willing to take shots. Even let me tell you, until 2012, I was individual contributor. It's because of one interview where interviewer was very honest at him, and I conveyed my gratitude to him for as usual, in any interview, what we do, we speak about our success. And I was applying for a man management position, but since I'm an individual contributor, I was speaking all about my achievement, my success. This territory did this territory I achieved this. I was always speaking about my achievement. Usually what happens if somebody doesn't want to take you on board, he will tell you, we'll come back to you. But this gentleman, he decided something different. He gave me back. He gave me back very strong feedback, which I never received in my life. And I used to think, I cannot fail in my interview. I am doing so well. And I had this, ego issue, which, this guy broke. He said, you are a sales rep. You are being sales rep because of your mind. Because what I have listened so far is good enough to hire you as a salesman only. It is not good enough to hire you as a manager. You are not speaking about how you are going to grow yourself. You are not enrolling yourself to any training. You are not doing any MBA, part-time MBA or courses. You are not investing on yourself, and you are not speaking the language which I wanted to hear from my manager. And I tell you that rejection, initially 2 days, I told my family, this guy doesn't want to hire me, so he was making excuses. It took me decent 15-20 days to reflect back that he was right. All trainings that I'm doing is actually product training, sales training, sales management training. I'm not doing analytical training. I'm not doing training which will get me new or higher job. I'm doing training for my current job. And that's where from my journey changed. And you will see from 2012, after that rejection, I course corrected myself. I clearly draw a strategy for myself that my next discussion with my HR would be not around my increment percentage and incentives. It will be about how many people you are going to give me in my team, how much territory I will be covering, what new assignment you can offer me. If you don't have a good or bigger assignment, then definitely I would look outside. You give me assignment, I'll prove my worth. And I continued on the same line with my managers, with my HR. And in my 15-year career, I reported to 12 different managers, and out of those 12, I replaced 6 managers. It's purely because they only has chosen me as their successor. Not I did something to replace them or push them out, but they actually chosen me for my attempt. So coming back to rejection, this is the one rejection which I took very seriously, and I improved. And that's where from my career journey changed. And so is true with pharmaceutical reps. Every day in, day out, we are rejected. Why we are rejected? Because we are not appreciating the value of other person's time. Once you get a time, you have to add value to other people. If they will see value in you, you will not get rejected. And whenever you are getting rejected, don't see the reason. It's very easy to blame the circumstances and the environment. I cannot change what my other industry colleagues are doing. Yeah, pharma field, 20-year back, the kind of reputation reps used to enjoy, and the current time what the reputation reps are enjoying is totally different. 20-year back, pharmaceutical reps used to be considered as a partner to doctor who would come and support doctors. Now they are seen as a troublemaker. They are seen somebody who's interrupting them. rather than, helping them. So your job is not to be an interruption. Your job is to be a value. Whenever you get a rejection, please sit and reflect on your choice. I know it is very difficult when you are young. Whenever we are given any rejection, as a human being, we have a habit of, justifying. Do justification, because you cannot change your human nature overnight. Do that. But please come back to your failure. Make a list where you have failed and understand why you have failed. As long as you are not going into why, you are not growing. You are not growing, then next time also you will get your, frequency of rejections will be far more. And again, coming back to rejection and failures, Michael Jordan, he was not even selected for his school team. He was not even selected for his college team. He was dropped from his initial two NBA teams where he was part of the team, but he never got to play. And he went to become, the most successful player ever we had. Not because he was great. He was willing to put effort. He used to understand, why it is happening with me. He worked on why for inwardly, not outwardly. Why world is doing with me is not the reason. Why it is happening with me is the reason that we should be, reflecting on.
Right, absolutely. You said it. The very pertinent point which I understood is yes, you can give justification to others on why you were rejected, but yes, you cannot justify to yourself. If you cannot justify to yourself, yes, go back, analyze what happened, the situation, and how probably you could have dealt with that situation differently, and why were you facing rejection. And as Amarjit said, think about why were you getting rejected. Were you able to add value when you were supposed to do you were supposed to? If not, yeah, make the this is the time to make that corrective action so that you don't get rejected the next time. Okay, so every action you take, okay, whatever you do in the marketplace or in any conversation with your customer, with your colleagues, with your boss, if you're getting rejected or if you're not getting your way, try to understand the situation from others perspective, and work on to that so that you can correct your ways, you can correct your communication, you can correct your conversation, you can plan a better strategy for you to be able to get what you want, or for you to be able to pursue it what you want from others. I think that is very
I
rightly
would
said.
like to add one thing
Yeah.
here. I would like to add one thing here. You know, if it is about customer, let me come back to our core area, customers. Just think from his point of view. If you will be in his place, how would you like? There are 20 people standing outside. He has a practice. He also has a family. He's performing something, and he's giving you time out of his busy life. You can people can lose money and earn back, but time wasted on someone, if his time is so valuable, try and understand. He can save somebody's life. He can earn more money, serving more patient, or he can spend time with his family back home, which is also essential for every human being. He's giving time of his life to you, so that time will never come back. Please make sure that you are giving time, value, money to him. You cannot make him rich, but you can give value to his time. You have to understand from his perspective. I'll tell you one good example, Pankaj, from my life, a very practical example from my days in Novo Nordisk. There used to be a physician in my city called Kota, and he was one of the very big basal insulin prescriber. Basal insulin is something which is taken overnight for maintaining basal level of insulin. And one of the other company, Aventis, was pioneer, and he was biggest prescriber for that. And my company launched a basal insulin, and for me he was the biggest target. But he didn't had any issue with his current customer set. He was happy. There was no need for him to change. It should not be that Amarjit has come up with a new product. I need to prescribe. Maybe to make me happy, he will prescribe one or two or three, but I will be not able to pierce through and get what I wanted to get out of him. But fortunately, while I was sitting at his clinic, I had a very good reputation with his clinic staff. I understood he was struggling with two patients of diabetic foot, and whose diabetic foot has grown, gangrenous. So it could lead to, foot amputation. So those patients could have lost the foot. And at that time, Novo Nordisk has launched one rapid insulin called NovoRapid. I had that product in my mind, but not for this customer, because it was not my, it was not my need. My need was to sell basal insulin. But I could see, this guy, I can sell rapid insulin and it can help him save these patients. So I changed my orientation. I said, okay, for next 1 month, I will focus on this thing because this is an issue for him. Let's enter with his issue. Let's defocus, my priority. So I defocus my priority for, 1 month. I worked with him. I gave him sample. He used in those 2 patients. And, in matter of 10 days, his both patient recovered so well that he was so happy. Every time he need a, instant insulin support, it was NovoRapid for him. And that's how, my relation with him started. Then gradually, it was just a reputation which I developed. And, when he saw that this company's product is actually so effective, overnight he started changing. And, eventually I could hit my basal insulin target with his help only, because he was one of the biggest, prescriber. So you have to see it from others' perspective, not from your perspective. If you hit his need, you are successful.
Wonderful. I think that was pretty awesome. Like deprioritizing your own priorities and focusing on your customers' priorities or on the others' priorities in case of your colleagues, your boss, or whatever whosoever you are interacting with. I think it's a very important point and tip for everyone. And I think that can be a tip of the day for me as well. Like understanding the other's priority rather than your own priority. Yes, you have to keep your priorities in mind and you have to work accordingly, but yes, sometimes it also helps to understand the priorities of the other people, and if you are able to take care of others priorities, they will take care of your priorities. That's what my take home
I
message
was
from this.
about to add this. I was about to add this, Pankaj, at the start of any relation, to build trust, you have to be selfless.
Yes,
You should not be selfish at the start of any relation, be it your customer relation or your any love life or your family life. You cannot be selfish from word one. If you are building trust and credibility, first you have to show their interest.
great. And that brings me to the last question of the day, and then we will open up for the audience. So people who are there, just hang on and keep putting your questions in the chat window. We will be taking your questions and in the end after this question. So now uh, uh, you are powerful beyond measure. Okay. Tell us about your this book of yours. I think you recently launched on 1st of October. You launched this book. Yeah, we can see the title on the background. So why this title, You Are Powerful Beyond Measure, and what our audience can expect out of this book?
Read it. I would like to say one thing, where from I picked up this title is actually, there's a movie called Coach Carter. I would recommend everyone to see, Coach Carter movie. Very good and motivational movie for everyone. This movie had this dialogue called, we are powerful beyond measure. This is a poem written by Marianne Williamson in 50s in some novel, and then it was reused by many people. And this is the basic philosophy of my life. And you all can Google that poem and just go through it. Most of the time, we just wanted to fit into the community of the people around us. So to fit around people, what we do, if you are exceptionally good at something, you don't want to show your exceptional strength because other people will get insecure around you. As a human being, it's not your job to think, that by your outshine or by your success, other people will get insecure. You do your job, because there are people who will also get inspired by your actions. So your job as a human being is to maximize your potential and inspire others. And that's the, crux of this poem is, we are not inadequate. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is we are powerful beyond measure. God has not made us, for objective of settling, low. God has given us some purpose. We are in human life, and we are not pre-programmed. We can reach to any kind of potential, and it's our job. Don't bother about what other people will think. When I, uh, when I told somebody 3 year back that I will be on national role, 5 year back that I will be in national role in 2 years, people laughed. They should be laughing because their laughter gives you fuel. When I said, I will be on so and so, financial level, people laughed, and they should laugh because that will push you more to do. You have to declare yourself what you are. Let other insecure people, and this is the philosophy I always believe in. So this book is a culmination of multiple philosophies that I have picked up from different books, anecdotes, public proverbs, and this is actually crux of my personality, which I could narrate in some few pages. This is my first attempt as a writer. Maybe I have made some of mistakes, but I don't believe in perfectionism. I believe in doing and then correcting it. So I don't expect it to be, the first perfect attempt, because if I'll wait for perfection, it will not happen anytime in my life, and I will miss out to write something. So I have written something which, will be very useful for other people, because there are examples from my life. There is example from, some mythological stories. There is example from celebrity lives, and there is core philosophies and techniques how to control your, mind and bring success to your life and realize success. I believe, mindset plays a very important role in success rather than, talent or other tangible aspect of human being.
Absolutely. So I'm also like I have read one chapter of this book till now is about self-belief, and the kind of stories which you narrated in terms of explaining all those things. I think that is pretty beautiful. So guys, go out and buy this book on Amazon. I think it is available as a Kindle read as well. And I'm not sure, Amarjit, if it's available as a paperback as well now.
So, there's some challenge with, paperback Amazon India. So it is available globally on paperback, but in India, it will be available on paperback by some publisher very soon. So I have just submitted to publisher. So maybe next week you can expect that this book will be available in physical form also. But as of now, it's on Kindle, and Kindle is a very easy app to buy.
Yeah. So people like
You
me
don't
who,
have to buy. Actually, it's free.
yeah, great. If it is free, then wonderful for people. And yes, I am a big fan of like reading books on Kindle, and I was sharing it with you as well. Like books, if you are reading books, yes, you will get new thoughts, and yes, you can, it can help you change your mindset, change your way of thinking, and learn something new. So yes, if you are new to book reading, you may start off with this book, You Are Powerful Beyond Measure, and your future self will thank you. And if you make this decision of reading this book, I'm sure this is a wonderful book, because when I was interacting with Amarjit before, and even in today's session, I see a lot of different stuff which he has done in his life, and I'm sure that the culmination of all those thoughts, all those learnings, all those mistakes which he has made probably have come out in this book as well. So I would recommend people who are interested, they can get onto Amazon. And yes, so Mayor is asking about the name of the book. The name of the book is You Are Powerful Beyond Measure. Okay. So maybe Amarjit, you can show yourself once again the title of the book, or we will be putting it.
Sure. It's it's not showing on my background.
Yeah, we can see that. So
Yeah, yeah.
you can note down the name of the book, and you can check it out on Amazon Kindle. It is available as a Kindle read, or you can download a Kindle app that is
You,
very pretty
you
simple.
can you can search on Amazon with my name, or even if you will type, rather than typing, entire book title, if you will type my name on Amazon app, you will get the link of the book.
Yeah, that's great. So now we are opening up for the audience for the question. Thank you very much. I think it's been more than an hour of we being conversing between two of us only, and now let's take few questions from the from the audience. So let's go to the YouTube live first. I think there are a lot of questions on YouTube live. Let me take one question from Aditya Rajgude. So he is asking, he is saying that he is working with Bebron sales team from past 10 months. Now, how I change my career from sales to product management?
Okay. So, very good question. Most of us aspire to join, marketing, and definitely, salesperson and sales and marketing goes hand in hand. The organization where sales and marketing is on conflicting side, you will either not have sales, or you will have sales which is not sustainable in nature, maybe less profitable, or maybe not consistent in nature. So marketing and sales goes hand in hand. And how to move from your sales assignment to marketing assignment, you have to think why you should be hired as a marketing person. Have you invested in yourself? If yes, make yourself felt. Do some initiative, take some proactive measures, and show to the marketing team. Let me tell you my example. I was interviewed when I was in Novo Nordisk. I used to do some innovative stuff in my little own territory while doing events, while designing events. I used to bring my own tinge to doing event, and I used to make a scrapbook of it. And by end of the month, like narrating my own sales pitch to marketing, and sending them, this should be our strategy. Make some strategy, send it them, or make some business case. You are not hired what you want. You are hired what you can do, what you deserve. So show them you deserve. You will be hired into marketing, irrespective of, maybe if not in this company, somewhere else. So what is the job of marketing guy? They are responsible for product mix. They are responsible for strategy. They are responsible for go-to-market strategy. In these three domains, whichever you are comfortable in, make a good business case and send it to the marketing head. That, sir, I think this is what we should be doing, and this is how, and this is what my business acumen says, that if we do this, this is the volume of sale we can get, this is the penetration we can achieve, or this is the market share we can attract more. So make yourself aware to those people. They don't know your I would speak in Hindi. They don't know आपकी इच्छाएं उन्हें पता नहीं है. And even if they know your willingness, they don't know your potential. So whose responsibility is to sell your potential? It is your responsibility. Make them feel that you are worthy enough to invest. They will invest. Why any company would not like to have a salesman transitioning from salesmanship to marketing? It would make more sense to them. You are going to bring lots of ideas from the ground actually.
Absolutely, yeah. So you have to think on how you can transition into that role smoothly, what you can learn, and how you can exhibit those things. And if you can, in the current role, if you can take up few more assignment, if you can share your plans, or no matter if you are a salesman or if you are a marketer, okay, whatever you feel from the ground, whatever you think should the organization be doing for that particular brand, for that particular product to be promoted in the market. Yes, just keep sharing, and keep learning. Okay, so that is very important for you to transition into any role, no matter if it is product management or any other role. So you have to learn these skills beforehand, before you get into sales, before you get into that particular function. So that's great, Amarjit. So let's take another question from YouTube live. Ritesh is asking, which are the areas where most medtech salesperson fail, and which is the most tough part of medtech selling?
Which is the area where medtech sales rep fail?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And what is the most tough part of medtech selling? What is the most difficult thing about medtech selling?
So, difficulty is something that I really don't see. Unfortunately, I don't have a vision for understanding difficulty. I would speak about failure. Yes, failure is very difficult. In medtech, you are not given ORG IMS data, so you don't know what your exact market share is. You don't know, how much surgeon is using yours. So you are dependent on multiple sources. So sometimes medtech sales rep fails on identifying the right potential of his own market, because you have to multiply with the number of surgeries, and number of surgeries are also dynamic, especially in India, where we have festive season, where sales declines because of the number of festivals are around and people don't prefer surgeries, elective surgeries goes on hold. So there are different trends in the market. At the same time, there is no predictable measure for your success, because you don't know what potential your territory holds. When I went to Rajasthan, people said, this territory doesn't have that much potential, but Rajasthan, I could deliver, 7 crore from 20 lakh to 7 crore in 3 years. Thank God I did not do any kind of ORG IMS, because that would have limited my understanding of market. And that's where, the failure and success both comes with the hand in hand, because you don't know your market potential, and that's why you give your maximum shot and you can retrieve more. So that's one area where people fail. Second, source of information. A source of information, because your surgeon will not tell you how much he is able to use. It's the nurses. And when nurses are not providing goods to your surgeon to use, your surgical consumables will lie in the shelves, and it will go for expiry, and it will come back to your distributors. So it's actually the network of information which is very critical in surgical field compared to pharmaceuticals field. So that's where most of the medtech people doesn't understand managing multiple stakeholders in the system, and that's very critical for success in sales.
Right, absolutely. So the key is to understand the various stakeholders, understand the entire process of how medtech selling happens. And once you are into that zone, once you learn the way, there is nothing. And as Amarjit said in the beginning of answering this question, that is the key. Okay, you don't have to see the tough part. Okay, so you have to make your DNA, or you have to make your mind tuned not to see the failure, not to see the tough things, not to see the difficult things which you cannot do, but you tune your mind so that you see the opportunities rather than difficulties. So that is the way to approach any new thing, and be it medtech selling, it is nothing different. Okay, so let's take Amarjit, let's take one more question from YouTube live, and then we will be taking questions from people who are there on Zoom. So the question is from Nadir Khan. So he's saying that it is really frustrating working in government institutions when you get orders so late and you don't know the reason. So how do you tackle that whenever your dependency on the government institutions orders for most of your business? What you can do as a sales
Pankaj,
rep?
that's very relevant question, and I have myself been on that area where government orders are like lucky draw, which can shape your future, and there are multiple other reasons also which influences your success. So if somebody who's only responsible for government institution, their challenge is far more difficult than somebody who has a combination of territory. So as a sales manager, I prefer to give some part of private business to the person who's managing government account, because without having a sustainable business, it becomes very frustrating for a sales rep, because success attracts success, result attracts result. If you don't get result, you feel frustrated. And I really it's really a relevant question. So if you are a sales rep who's exclusively into government business, first of all, I would ask your manager, go and meet your manager and discuss that, please assign me some of the, private key accounts, or some of the private accounts where I can have some sustainable sales to show my, efforts. Government business, definitely, you cannot do much about it, but there is also a season to it. Like in, private medical colleges, sorry, not private medical colleges, government medical colleges, they have their own fund. So they have to use their fund in a particular manner, and you have to chase that fund right from the generation point, and then you have to convert it into demand, and that this demand becomes tender, and eventually after long tendering process you get success. But you have to rely that as and when their financial closure comes, decision becomes faster. And this nature of government business, you need to understand when funds come and when funds is about to lapse. And according to labs, that front going to labs, they plan their, budgeting. If you're a sales rep, go and find how they place and when they place orders frequently. There is a season to it. Mostly you will see government hospital placing order right before Diwali, Navratra, festive seasons. You will see most of the government hospital placing order right before, March and closing, because they need to show that they have utilized the fund. So there is a pattern. And if you have a wrong impression by end of the year in December because you have an annual sales closer, they will give you order, then you are on a wrong track. You should have done something around festive season to get your business done much before your annual closer. So please focus on, those areas of closers, figure out the trend, and if that is something is, manageable. And what else you can ask your company or your manager to give you some private account also, so that you stay engaged during your lull period where you are not getting anything.
Absolutely. But the key is, yes, if you can have experience of all the different types of accounts, you will become a better salesperson, because then you will be learning different strategies according to the type of the accounts, type of customers you will be dealing with. Yes, you can learn that. But yes, if you are only having government accounts, like I know some companies, they have people specializing only for government business. Okay, so if you are in that kind of role, yes, you need to understand the kind of pattern as Amarjit mentioned, and get into all the departments, all the different people who are there, understand the stakeholders, understand the buying frequency, buying pattern, and what you can do today so that your order is anticipated. Okay, whenever you are anticipating that order, that is not getting delayed. Okay, whatever you can do in your own capacity, so try to do that. In addition to this, Amarjit, Nadir has also asked about the top 4 skills required for medical devices or medtech industry. Okay, so I think this is the question which most of the people would be having. So let me take this one more question from YouTube, and then we move to the Zoom.
Top 4 skills required to be a salesperson.
Yeah, to be a successful salesperson in medical devices. Yeah.
First and foremost is perseverance. Because to take shocks, to take impact, to take, sometime, bad treatment, and, reflecting on your choices and making your, decision forward. So perseverance is very important, not only to be successful in your, sales assignment, but also in your career, because perseverance is the only thing which will, keep you going. Otherwise, medical sales is a very difficult, genre of sales where, people get disheartened very early because of the other people's behavior or reactions. So perseverance is the number one. Second comes communication. And, when it comes to communication, as we discussed earlier also, Pankaj, communication, people mostly get confused with language. Language is different and communication is different. Communication is your ability to understand the response, verbal, non-verbal, and decode it and then respond. So that's communication. Language is just a medium via media or, vehicle that we use. But in between communication and language comes your knowledge of the subject. So these are the 3 pillars. So communication for me is the number 2 priority in any kind of sales. Language can be learned. Language can be learned later on, but yes, communication is very important. How you communicate your own, thinking and your own nice words. The third most important would be being honest and trustworthy. Honest to yourself as well as to your customer, because the more self-aware we are of our limitation, we will be more successful, because self-aware people, they are sincere. I also follow one quote called, it is better to be sincere than being serious. People get serious, oh, I need to do this. Just be sincere. People will see your sincerity. So, the honesty and sincerity, which I'm saying, it is very important in sales, because you don't sell your product first, you sell yourself first. You become presentable, amicable, acceptable to the person. He thinks, yes, he makes sense, I can listen to him or I can trust him. So that honesty comes, the third most important. And fourth, and the most important thing, is achiever's mindset. End of the day, salesperson is known for achiever. All those initial three things, if doesn't translate into achievement, and then we are doing something somewhere wrong. I'm not saying always you will be achiever. There are seasons, but yes, achievement drive is very, very critical for a sales rep.
Right,
And
absolutely.
if somebody is fresher, how I will come to know about his achievement drive. You can ask him personal life question where he feel sense of pride, sense of achievement, what he has accomplished in personal life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Achievement is one thing. Like success is the biggest addiction any person can have. Okay, so if you are successful,
Right.
obviously you will. Once you taste the success, that is the time when you make the very high progression, very fast progression in your career. Okay, so try to taste the early successes. Okay, and do whatever it takes you to be successful. Once you taste the success, then you would not like the taste of failure. Okay, so then you will do everything whatever it takes for you to be successful again and again. Okay, so then it becomes a habit. Okay, once this success becomes a habit for you, then you start seeing the change in your life. Okay, it happens with most of the successful people, and you need to figure out a way on how you can be successful for the first time, and then you have to how you can keep repeating that success over and over again. Okay, so that is the thing which Amarjit mentioned. So let me go back to people who are there on Zoom. I think there are still few questions on YouTube live. We will come back to people who are there on YouTube. We'll take questions from there. But let me take one more interesting question. And we have been talking a lot about taking more work, asking for more responsibilities. Okay, so additional responsibility, and this question is from Nikunj. Okay, he's asking additional responsibility. It is good that you take additional responsibilities, more work, but yes, it also means more time towards your work. Okay, so how did you manage your professional and personal life? Like how did you manage that work life balance?
you know uh, does it mean when you will become it means if a sales rep, first of all I would like to understand about the question. If you're a sales rep, you will become manager, and when you will become manager you will have bigger work. Does it mean that your manager doesn't have life, or CEO doesn't have life? Everyone has a life. You have to prioritize. I would recommend people to read book called Seven Habits of Successful People from Dr. Stephen R. Covey. The number one thing in life is making priority. And also law of Pareto, 80/20. You make list of your task and decide which task is very important, which will give me more result, and then you prioritize. Asking additional responsibility doesn't really mean that you will be given more. Means end of the day you have 24 hours only to perform. But if you are asking for additional responsibility, maybe you are meeting C category, D category doctors more in your A, assignment, and you are given B assignment. So in A and B, you will be meeting more KOLs. So focus on those people where from you can get high revenue. So it is about right priority and following 80/20 principle. Sometimes 80/20 is 10/90, or sometimes it is 70/30. But I'm telling you, most of your revenue, most of your recognition, most of your success come from very selective qualitative work that you do. It doesn't come from the bulk of the work. Bulk of the work is for that is animalistic, that is donkey ship. That's not work. Work is qualitative, selective, high priority work.
Sure, sure. So let me take another question. The question is about that it may sound easy to approach your manager or your HR and ask for self development, but it is very difficult in the practice. Okay, so if one does not get such opportunity despite all the efforts, should one look outside opportunities, or how to get them in the same organization?
Look, the culture of organizations vary. So the statement which I'm making is with my reflection of my career. I've been fortunate to be in Novo Nordisk. I've been fortunate to be in Johnson Stryker and getting a, as in when opportunity came, I was ready and I was given assignment. I can understand your empathy, but it is not that I have not been rejected. I have been rejected several times. and rejection is part of and process of life. It is not that all the promotion were given to me only. There were other opportunities which I missed out, and you will be also missing out something. Whenever you miss out something, reflect on your choices. Don't take it to your heart. Don't take failure to heart. Take failure to mind, and don't take success to mind. Take your success to heart. Enjoy it. So enjoy your success and don't take it to your mind. So coming back to your question, yes, it is difficult to engage in a productive discussion, because nowadays most of managers and leaders, their quality is also getting deteriorated, as we are getting influenced with many things. Everyone is looking for quick fix. Everyone is very self oriented, and maybe you are meeting people who are very self oriented in your life. Don't take it to your heart. It is not your issue. It is their issue. But what choice you have to think about it. And never discourage yourself because someone else is not taking initiative is your responsibility. If not within house, then definitely you should look outside house.
Yeah, great learning again, Amarjit. Don't take your failure to your heart, and don't take your success to your mind. Okay, great thing. I think obviously it's very important to understand your failure from your mind. Okay, and don't get bogged down with your failures. Okay, failure is an opportunity to try out through another way. Okay, with a new way, with a new rigor, with a new passion on how, and with a better way of approaching or kind of doing that particular thing. So failure is always an but
Pankaj, I would like to I would yeah, I
yeah.
would like to add one quotation from Amitabh Bachchan. you know he said, अगर आपके मन की हो तो बहुत अच्छा, और आपके मन की ना हो तो उससे भी अच्छा. Because when you are not getting things what you want, it means you are getting things what you deserve, which God has planned for you. So I thank that gentleman who has not selected me in 2012, because in striker I could grow in my career. So thanks to him, thanks to many other people who have refused to work with me, and thank you to them as well. So maybe if currently you are facing some tough time, rest assured there is some better thing coming your way. You have to keep your faith strong actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, it happens with most of us when we look back and when we see our failures. Yes, probably the failures have also been a blessing in disguise from the God. Okay, so believe in God and believe in your own abilities. You will get where you deserve to be. Okay, so that is there. But yes, you keep hustling, as Amarjit said. Keep pushing your own boundaries. Okay, that is the key. So another question from Abhishek Nair. So Abhishek is asking. What has been your biggest achievement and greatest learning in your life?
you know it's nothing personal, it's nothing from professional life, it's all from personal life. you know when I gave commitment, I lived by my commitment. I married to the girl I proposed, promised, and I live. She's my wife for last 15 years. We met in college. I'm living by my word. And that's what makes me proud of myself. Raising two kids, and currently I'm enjoying my time with my little daughter. So my success is my personal life, not this that I'm regional director or something, because these things are temporary. You retire from job, but you don't retire from your life. So I take life more seriously than my job.
Great, and I can see a list of achievements for you. Like you can list down all your achievements. Like recently, you published your own book. I think that is an achievement in itself. But yes, it that shows the kind of character that shows the kind of person you are when you are talking about your personal achievement and staying true to your commitment. Yes, that is the biggest achievement. Great. So moving on to the next question, Amarjit. This is a question I think with most of the people would be having because a lot of us are from pharmaceutical sales. They want to move into medical device sales. So the question is, with respect to being a newbie to medical devices, what would you look for in a person, like if it is talent or skill or both, when you're hiring a person from other
First,
background?
yes. Recently I interacted with one company's HR, and they were looking a leader for particular domain. and that company person, I was narrated, their company is not growing faster. And you know why? Because they were hiring with the same psyche, same mindset people. So such companies and such people doesn't grow when they narrow down their channel or vision. Uh, so is true for the candidates. So the candidates, I would prefer better attitude over aptitude, because aptitude is something we can develop, skill and will. So there is something called skill matrix, there is something called will matrix. If you are willing to hustle, you know if I have a very smart guy who's very skillful, talented, but he's not right, he's not up to the commitment for his work, what I will do with his skills? He's not good for nothing for me. He's somebody who's great, but could be great, but he's not willing to put effort. So someone who's not willing to invest, I cannot help. But the person who's willing to invest and he has a lesser skills, he's a better person for me to work with. So I would prefer willingness and aptitude and potential of the person, rather than looking at skill and aptitude of the person. So that's my point of view. Yes, when you are transitioning from pharma to medical devices, you will hear it more, far more often. Great companies hire people from diverse background. Johnson & Johnson, they hire leader from heavy electrical industry, they hire people from hotel management, they hire people from Asian Paints, they hire people from diverse industry. The companies which has low capacity to train people, they hire people from their stream of line, and so they get very predictable result, because they are not hiring people from different walk of life. So great companies hire people that way. So I'm not big fan of only skills. Yes, skills are very important, but only skills is not good. It's not my cup of tea. Yeah.
Great, great. So another, let me not take a question now. Listen to a comment. The comment is made by Anil Ajmera. So he is saying, "What a great session! Added many new dimension in thought process." That's great. Same is the case, I hope, with everyone, and I'm sure the learning is there for me as well. I learned a lot of things today. So let's take one more question. The question is from Ajay Utekar. So he is asking about how to develop and handle EQ of internal customers of organization. Okay, EQ of internal customers. How do you handle or understand or develop this EQ?
You cannot develop EQ of other people. You can navigate your own EQ. And EQ is one of the highest uh, capital value that I give in one person's character. What happens, especially if you are in leadership, especially when you are sales rep? Reason being, uh, people people will put you in a situation where you will react, you will respond out of your emotion, and EQ helps you to respond from other people's perspective. Someone is frustrated because of some other issues in life, and he's reacting in a certain manner, and if I'm responding to him just purely because something going wrong with that person's personal life. So we really don't understand people. So sometimes it is better to observe situation from other people's perspective. EQ is nothing but to understanding emotions, keeping your emotion in check before responding. It's very difficult. Even till today, I'll tell you one example from my book only. One of my friends said, there is some formatting issue with this and that. And I said, okay, maybe there is some, issue with your device. Rather than taking his, input, but then I thought, okay, he's my friend. He has invested money. He's my customer also. If he's saying, there is a formatting issue, I should go and, change my formatting issue. This is what I learned from my career. So I went back, I spent my entire night, I completed my formatting, and then I uploaded it, once again. So that's how you course correct. But what I did out of my emotion, no, it is not possible. So this is what we do with people as well. So we can only keep our emotion in check. We cannot influence other people's emotion. We can check our behavior. With our behavior, other people's emotion toward us will change.
Great. Yes, it all EQ is nothing but understanding the emotions, understanding your own emotions, understanding the emotions of other people, and then obviously responding, not only reacting, but yes, how can you respond with your mind in the right place, and it's not only coming up from your own heart, but yes, you need to give it a thought before you respond to other people. So if you can do that, yes, you can handle external customer, you can also handle internal customers, no matter whatever kind of relationship you are having with anyone, in no matter what kind of conversation, you can get through any conversation, and you can respond in a much efficient way for you to get what the results which you want. So that is all about EQ. Just thought of adding on to what Amarjit has said. So moving on from here, another question about the current situation of medtech organizations. So the question is from Anirban. He's asking, in the current situation, most of the med devices organizations are only willing to recruit candidates who possess transferable skills. How to overcome that hurdle for people from pharma industry who are aspiring and have the right mindset to deliver, but still they are facing the challenge because they do not have the transferable skill, or they do not have a med device background.
Look, if you don't have a transferable skill, it means you have not acquired anything so far. I'm sorry, but it might appear to you as blunt. Transferable skill is something that you learn on your current, assignment, which can be used in your, medical device assignment. And I think pharma sales is very difficult sales. It is not easy, and there are lots of things which a pharma rep can bring to the table, especially in surgical consumable world. Maybe medtech and medical technology company where capital equipment is being sold, jumping straight away from pharmaceutical to medical capital equipment would be far too different skill set required. But the right progression would be moving to the consumable, because consumable business is more or less similar to what pharmaceutical business is. It's not prescription business, but yes, on similar line. So let me tell you, transferable skills you have to acquire. You have to acquire on your current assignment. You don't know negotiation skills, it is being taught in pharmaceuticals. Probing skills, yes, it is being taught. Communication skills, so these are transferable skills you have already acquired in your assignment. Yes, if a company has already decided that they will only hire people from certain background, you cannot influence their policy. Maybe you are appearing for a wrong choice of employer. Target companies, do your homework, right? Which company actually will hire people who are from pharma background. And I tell you, I'm from medical device company. Most of the people would prefer hiring pharmaceutical reps rather than hiring somebody done MBA and fresher, because they are more irrelevant for sales than a pharma sales rep. Pharma sales rep brings a lot to the table, especially the number of calls they make in a day, the number of effort they put in the field. So I don't see being pharma sales rep is actually anyway is an inhibition. Yes, from pharma sales rep, if you are on a certain level or mid career and you are moving to med device, yes, somewhat you will again start from your the initial level or junior level, but it's okay. With the time, you will be where you are supposed to be.
Right, that's great. And first of all, as Amarjit said, if you're from pharma, you don't have to believe, you
Pankaj,
have to
sorry,
stop.
I'm interrupting.
Yeah.
There is one interesting question I'm stopping myself from answering for very long period of time, and it was the last question somebody has asked. Uh, how does education help you to prepare for multiple changes of roles we have in our career? How do you keep yourself updated?
Yeah,
And
sure.
I don't know about education. I cannot speak for education. Yes, education is eligibility criteria, I believe. It's like a ticket to the club that you buy to enter into the club. But how well you can dance on the floor is your will, your skill that matters. Yes, education is important. It's a criteria. It is eligibility metrics. Do courses which will give you employable skills rather than just getting degrees. do employable courses which bring, tangible aspect to your career rather than, doing fancy degrees. It will help you long. But for me, education is just a ticket to club. It's not your dancing skills actually.
Right. Great. Yeah, great. The way you mentioned about education and obviously your skills. So another question is about again personal and professional life. But when you are met with a lot of challenges in your job, okay, so how do you balance your personal life, especially when you are having a very challenging job?
you know Family is a support function. Sometimes support function need your support, and sometimes you need support from support function. So that's how family works. Yes, there are times when I picked up different assignment, and my family responded pretty well. They know that this is the new assignment he is taking, and probably he is unavailable for us for next 5 to 6 months. And whenever I'm taking those assignment, my family is made aware of my movement, that I'm moving from Jaipur to Delhi, I'm moving from Delhi to Mumbai, new place, new company, maybe 5 6 months I will not have time for family until unless something, some exigency comes. So definitely family is your backbone, and that's what backbone's role is. They also support when you need them, and you also support them when they need, and that's how it goes. So you have to set your movement and take endorsement and support commitment from your family first. If I'm deciding that I will be moving from Delhi to Mumbai, it's not change for me only. It's change for my family. They are moving to Mumbai. They will be living with new, neighbors. Your son will be going to new school. So it's not your decision alone. They need to buy your decision even before you buy your decision. So take commitment from them. Once they are on board, you can face anything. If you don't have issue back home, you can fight with the world.
Great, absolutely. So with that, we come to the end of today's session. I think it's been a long session, 1 hour, 50 minutes almost. So I thank all the participants for joining in, and special thanks to you, Amarjeet. I think you have shared a wonderful insights about the mindset, about the approach which one should take to be successful, not only in medtech industry but to be successful in any industry. I think a lot of things which I picked up from today's discussion, and I'm sure all of us are going to implement in our lives. So with that, Amarjeet, thank you so much once again for taking time out and answering my questions and audience the questions. And so that is it about today's session. Keep sharing your learning on in the chat window. What are your key takeaways from today's session? Just share in the chat window and in the LinkedIn post as well. You can tag us, both of us, and what did you learn from today's session? So that would be great, and we would like to hear your feedback on this session. And with that, this is the end of the session, and we will come next week again Sunday live show, and at 5 o'clock with one more exciting topic, with one more guest to interact with all of us. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a I think it's a few hours remaining for the next working day starts for all of us. But enjoy your weekend, whatever few hours left. Maybe you can watch a movie with your family or whatever you want to do. But yes, thank you so much for giving your Sundays and investing in yourself. That shows a lot about what you are trying to achieve and what are you trying to do. But as Amarjit said, keep pushing, keep hustling, and do whatever best you can do for your own self and for the people around you. So thank you so much.
So Pankaj, last line from my side. Believe you are powerful beyond measure. You don't know what your measure is, so don't limit yourself. Have a great career ahead, and thanks for spending your time. Thanks, Pankaj, for this opportunity. And I had a really great interaction with you. And thanks to all the youngsters and budding professionals. They are all powerful beyond measure. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. And guys, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Bright Orbit, wherein you will get a lot of other insightful videos about medical device, how to be successful. So keep watching, keep subscribe to that channel as well, and we will be there every Sunday. So we'll see you next week, next Sunday at 5 o'clock. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Good night.